Hello, everyone. Charles Johnson, lead trainer and technical engineer for Lynxspring. Today, we're going to be doing the long, quote-unquote, lost second video of my Hierarchies series. Apparently, I had only intended for 2 videos, but in the second video, I actually called it the third video. And so, therefore, to keep what I say, this is now the quote-unquote second video. And this video is going to talk about what if we don't have any other tag dictionaries in our system but the Niagara Tag Dictionary. And as we know, the Niagara Tag Dictionary is built into every single station that's created. It cannot be deleted and it cannot be modified. So can we actually do functional hierarchies only using the Niagara Tag Dictionary? Turns out the answer is yes. So, if we go ahead and look at this hierarchy demo, and we see that I have some schedules here, I've got some devices here, I've got like a Niagara network, I've got a BACnet network with devices, I've got LAN networks, and Modbus TCP network here. So, one thing that you'll have to know is you'll have to get creative. So, before we create any hierarchies, let's just talk about the tag dictionary, for the Niagara Tag Dictionary specifically. And maybe, the Niagara Tag Dictionary. I don't think I said haystack. If I said haystack, I'm wrong. I meant the Niagara Tag Dictionary. So, I can't look at it from there, but if I expand it here, now I can actually take a look at the tag definitions that we may have, as well as the group definitions, which we don't have any, but we do have some relations as well. Well, we've got, device, display name. We have the N colon has PXView. This is great. So we have GeoCity, GeoState. So some of these we've seen in the Haystack Tag Dictionary before, but now we are only going to be using Niagara Tag Dictionary. So we're going to have to get creative with some of this. So like, for example, this vendor here. So this vendor here we may need to use for something different than its intended output. Same thing here for like version, which is a string. So we just have to be a little mindful of what we have, but we can still get a lot of the hierarchies that we would like to see done. First one I would like to show you is I want to show the networks and the devices underneath each network. Remember, hierarchies are basically navigation tree structures that are dynamic based upon the components and tags that are added or removed in the system. Effectively, these are, it is a way to create multiple navigation trees, whereas with a nav file, we only have one. With hierarchies, they are the multiple nav files, basically, but they're dynamic. So that's one of the great things about them. So in the hierarchy service, let's go ahead and do the first one for networks. I'm going to drag a hierarchy in here, because remember, you have to build the hierarchies in the hierarchy service. And I'm going to name this networks. And so with the network here, if I click on that to work in the smallest space possible, I'm going to drag in a query level definition here. And here I'm going to name it networks. Well, what tag dictionary or what tag can I use out of the Niagara Tag Dictionary? Well, to find what this network is tagged with, let's right-click on it and select Edit Tags. And when we do, we go to the implied tags because every component currently only has implied tags because it is from the Niagara Tag Dictionary. So I can see here the N colon network tag. Well, that's a great one to start. So if I do in my query level definition here, N colon network, colon, let's do that, not the L there. There we go. And now if I were to refresh my hierarchy tree node and I go to my networks, we can see now that they're all here. but none of my devices are there. Well, obviously we're going to have to relate the devices to my networks, much like we do the same way when we're relating points to devices. We can relate devices to networks. So if I right click on a network here and I go to Spy Local and I go down to see the relations that are implied, and I can see that I have a bunch of devices. Well, with these devices here, I can go ahead and see that it is n:child device. So I can go ahead and just highlight this and get my copy on. And now if I go to my hierarchy service, under my networks, drag in a relation level definition and name it devices, I can actually now just do n:child device. And now if I refresh my tree node, I can see that I have all my devices underneath. Now certain things we might be able to filter out, such as like the local LAN device and whatnot, but I'm not going to do that here. But what if I wanted to see the points underneath each of these? Well, I drag out a relation level definition here, and I name it points. And we've used this one before here, but n:child point. And now if I refresh my tree node, we can see that I have the points underneath there. Now what if I wanted to look at all the graphics for this? Well, I could do that. But maybe I want to look at the graphics as a whole. Just any device that has a graphic. Well, for any device that has a graphic, we can look at a controller here and see under my air handlers, let's look at, let's edit tags, and let's look at an implied tag of an air handler. N has PX view. So as soon as we add a PX view to a component, the N has PX view tag actually gets applied. And implied, actually. So if now I go to my hierarchy service and do I'll bring a hierarchy here for graphics, and now I drag in a query level definition under my graphics hierarchy and say get graphics, and I do n:has PX view and refresh my tree node. I can now see all my devices with graphics. And that's okay, right? Like it kind of just shows it all. But what if I wanted to break them out into trees individually? Well, I'm going to have to get creative here because I don't have a custom tag dictionary, and I don't want to add an ad hoc tag to all of these, which I could, but I don't want to do that. So if I right click on my AHU here and I go to Views and Tag Manager and I drag out all of my air handlers here, for the tag here, I could add a tag. Now sometimes you may see this in 4.13 where you don't see any of the tags here in the tag dictionary. So when that happens, just go ahead and disconnect. Do not want to save any of that. And log back in. And let's go back to my air handlers here. And Tag Manager. Can now see that we have them all back here again. And now let's go ahead and use, let's use the vendor tag here. And with the vendor tag, let's do, actually we'll just say air handling units, or air handling units. So now they're all tagged with the air handling units vendor tag. And I'm going to do the same thing here with the rooftop units. I'll go ahead and get rid of all these, remove components. And I'll go ahead and add the vendor tag here and name it rooftop units. Remove all these components. And now I will add the VAVs here and do vendor here and do VAVs. Same thing for chillers, boilers, and power meters. And then vendor. Let's rename that to boilers the proper way. And let's remove those and do the power meters. And again, for vendor, okay. I also have some geostate and geocity tags on the power meters already. You will see how that works as well. So if I go to my hierarchy service here, and now let's go ahead and do graphics by device type. And in this hierarchy, I'm going to add a group level definition. Devices. And now I'm going to sort them by vendor. N:vendor. And I need to add a query level definition. And let's say N:, N:device. Okay. So if I were to refresh the tree node, now we can see that I've got my air handlers broken down, or my graphics broken down into the different types here. So that's a little more, that is a little more manageable. Now, let's say I want to do the graphics, or let's say I want to do the schedules here. And with these schedules here, I'm going to go ahead and show you a different way rather than just a list level definition here. Let's show where we just see all the schedules. So we're going to have to get creative here because, well, we already use the vendor here. But maybe we can use another tag dictionary or another tag to apply these. Well, the first thing I want to see is what kind of tags are actually applied here. And if I select edit tags and applied, we see here the N:type. I don't necessarily want to do that. I also see this N:schedule. That might be something, but what does that actually do? So if you're not sure of what a tag does, we can always go to the search service and find out. So let's see what N:schedule does. 254 results. Well, I don't have 254 schedules. Well, anything that's a part of it gets that tag. So because of that, we see that that's not really going to work the way that we want. Well, if I go to a schedule, I'm going to views and tag manager. And again, we see that this kind of disappeared here real quick. So again, just a quick disconnect. and a reconnect. And again, this is I don't ever call them bugs. I call them features. That is a feature of N413. But let's go ahead and go to the tag manager here. And now if I bring in all of the schedules, well, we can choose something, really anything. Instead of vendor though, let's just do version, right? Version is a string. And so what if I add version? And the type of version is schedule. Seems reasonable. So now let's go ahead and see what we can find to query this. Well, let's go ahead and go to our hierarchy service. Let's drag in a hierarchy here and name it schedules. And now I'm going to create a query. And with this query level, I'm going to name this get schedules. And now let's say n:version equals schedule, I believe, or schedules. Let's see what we actually did. And just to make sure that we may have this here, let's get our Control T on to bring in another tab. And let's go ahead and do the search service, because I don't remember if I did schedules or schedule. All right, let's do schedule. Okay, so I just have it as schedule here. So go ahead and let's do that. And yeah, so even though this is a string tag, I can actually search for the value of the tag, and based upon the value, we can see other things. So now if I refresh the tree node, and now I go by schedules here, and I can see that. One I'm actually going to try live, because I just thought about it. Nope, I don't think we can do that, because I think it actually requires the haystack tag dictionary. Yeah, I think it requires a haystack tag dictionary, so I'm not going to show that one. However, we can see here that I've created some hierarchies that are fairly useful just using the Niagara tag dictionary. So this is again the quote-unquote second video of my series, so I do apologize for that error, and I do thank the person on the YouTube channel who did point that out for us. But yeah, this will be the second video on how to use hierarchies only using the Niagara tag dictionary. And that's all I have for today, and have a great one, and I'll see you the next time.